Hello humans, Master Dinnerflex here, bringing you the low quality content you deserve, and today I'll be going over a strange version of twins I've built. Now, this isn't new. I've built multiple different variations of Live Twin, Evil Twin, because what I've noticed with the core deck, if you just change nothing about it and try to go this, like, hand trap your opponent to sleep route, it's, like, neat, but the time of, like, playing Trick Stars and hoping you have enough hand traps to stop your opponent, that's over. That's not going to work anymore. So a lot of the times when you see me build a Live Twin variant, I'm doing something with the extenders that's more than just having them there. Like you've seen me do Overload Savage lines, you've seen me do Arclight and Melfi and IP, all this stuff, and the core reason of that is the idea of war criming with, I don't know, like, just pure twins, no use for the extenders, none of that, that's not good enough. The only time, like, flooding your deck with hand traps works is if your core engine creates enough disruptions and follow-up that it can be a backbone to when you see none of these non-searchable cards. However, that's not really the case. It is one pop and one draw you are given every single turn. And while that is powerful when you consider it's a one-card combo, the value of all the rest of your twin cards is worthless when you don't play extenders for them. Because what's the value of having two starters and an extender if it's the same as just having one starter? That has no value. And I've said this so many times that if you've seen enough of these, you're probably sick of hearing it. But, like, the deck with one card can do a lot, but it doesn't gain any value if you have more of those strong starters. So a lot of the time you need to come up with some alternative ideas to actually give your deck a really strong punch. And which is why I made so many crazy variants. But this is probably the craziest variant, because while it does have, like, extra deck uses for the extenders, it's actually a much more of a meme-y kind of idea, and that is to use Chaos Monsters. I'm going to go over a few combos, and then I can go into the deck list. So let's get into it. So for this first combo, we need Chaos Snepthys, which is searchable with Chaos Space and all these other things, and a discard outlet for it. But this discard outlet needs to preferably be home, but you can also have Chaos Space, Snepthys, and then a different starter. So all you want to do is get this in the graveyard preferably, but technically it can be in your hand. So all you really need is, like, starter and Chaos Snepthys. So let's get into it. We're going to start by discarding it for that extra value. And we're going to start playing twins. Since we're using home as our starter, we don't get to do any of the fun, cute extra deck stuff, but that's fine. That is the wrong twin. And then we're going to go into the Kissy, Kill, and Lilo route. So we will go ahead, summon Kissy, which will summon Lila, and we'll turn those into Lilo, which will summon back the Link Kissy. And then we get a random draw. So now we have 4 random cards in our hand. Can be whatever. And then we're going to go into Sunny Snitch. Very, very basic. Now, what exactly is this, you might be wondering? Well, this is where the Chaos Nephthys matters a lot. So, during our opponent's turn, if we have to use Frost, we can, but technically you kind of want to keep it in grave. Because you'll either have the choice of getting a random draw with Frost, or sending with Sunny to just send any card off the field, and I usually prefer having Sunny sending something, because that's way more powerful of an effect. But basically, when we tag into Sunny, we're going to revive the Kissy and Lila, and the Chainlink one will be Kissy, 2 will be Lila, we'll pop a thing, we'll get another random draw, and then the Lila popped a card on the field, which allows us to use the Chaos Nephthys in our graveyard. So we can banish a light and a dark, whether it having to be Sunny or the other Kissy Kill. to summon Chaos Nepthys. And when this card is special summoned, you can target one card your opponent controls and 2 cards in their graveyard, banish them. So basically, you're trying to get this in a line where your opponent has put 1 card in their graveyard and they control 2 cards. Because then you can pop 1 card, having 2 in their graveyard, and then you can banish the other card and banish their entire graveyard. So very, very, very basic interaction, but that's still a lot of interaction, and we still have 5 cards in our hand, and possibly a 6th card in our hand, or just Ascend with Sunny Snitch, or Trouble Sunny, on the following turn. Now, another Chaos combo I have shown off before is the Chaos Creator, and I'll go into that one. Now, for this next combo, what we need is Chaos Creator and a starter, but you have to keep in mind you want to keep a card on the field. So it might, if you have a normal summon as your starter, then you'll have to use another card in your hand that you can set, or if you have Sunny Snitch, it just will count anyways. So we will go ahead and start with our starter, Sunny Snitch. We will go Lila into Frost, and then we will link back into what you've seen, Kissy, Lila, Sunny, and we will now have 4 random cards in our hand. But you might be thinking, okay, where does this Chaos Creator come in? Well, right now, we're going to tribute the Trouble Sunny to revive the Kissy and the Lila, and then in the probably weirdest combo you will probably ever see in this deck, we're going to banish Sunny to send Kissy Kill and Lila from our deck, and then we just send the Sunny Snitch or whatever card we set off the board. And now we are going to special summon the Chaos Creator by banishing a light and a dark. Now we will activate Chaos Creator, and we're going to target Trouble Sunny. So we will special summon Trouble Sunny by putting these back on the bottom of our deck. So that's really cool. What we've basically done is generated a Link 4 off of this Chaos Creator. And let's actually go ahead and put the Trouble Sunny right here. Actually, let's move this board around a little bit. I think this will be optimal placement. Yeah. Let's try to get the board to look like this. And now, what we can do is we can link these 2 into Nightmare Griffin, or we can do Unchained Abomination. It just needs to be a Fiend. But Nightmare Griffin's kind of an oppressive effect. So we can discard 1 to set the Sunny Snitch. So we can trade a not useful card in our hand to reset this, and we can get a draw. So we'll have like 4 random cards in our hand. And then on our opponent's turn, we can go ahead and tag into Kissy and Lila. So we will get our pop and our draw. So we'll have 5 random cards in our hand. We'll apply a pop, and then they're under a floodgate. And what's really handy is the Sunny can remove the only arrow we give them to make this Griffin really, really difficult to deal with. So that's like another basic combo. And I've shown this one off before on my channel, I believe. But that's it for some of the Chaos combos. You could add... let's just go into the deck profile, and I'll explain some more choices. Alright, so for the deck list, let's go over the Chaos monsters. So the only light Chaos monster I could find that was worth playing was Blackluster Soldier. And this might be a little weird, and you might be wondering, hey, why is this? It's basically because it was the only light Chaos monster that was worth playing. And no, I was looking at like cannot be normal summoned or set monsters as well. Not just like a Chaos monster, but anything that could qualify for Chaos space. And there was just nothing worth actually using outside of BLS, because it's the only white one that actually has a very beneficial effect to this deck of just punching really, really hard. But now for the Dark Chaos monsters, we got Nepthys. I showed it in the first combo, and Chaos Creator I showed off in the second combo. And by technicality, Kissy Kill and Lilla is also a Chaos monster. So this is actually kind of neat because it allows Chaos Space to put it back in the deck, like I showed off in the second combo, when it gets banished, but it also allows it to be searchable with Chaos Space. So there's just a lot of really cool interactions you can do with this card in Chaos Space that also just applies to the extra deck monsters as well. But then we got triple Kissy starter, and then extender, triple Lilla starter, and then the one extender, pretty common. And we got some hand traps, and a lot of anti-opponent go second cards. Perfect examples of this is like Ash, Valor, Ghost Spell. It's all up to you. You can replace for even more hand traps, but I was just testing around with this build a bit, and it's going to take a lot longer to get finalized, but I wanted to show this off because I didn't like the way the Sky Striker Evil Twin deck was working. It worked when I first made it. As the format has changed around a lot, the idea of like using backup Sky Striker cards just wasn't really working very well, so I just decided to show off a different build. But yeah, that's it for the monsters. And for the spells and traps, it's pretty obvious. Just secret password, triple of this. I always play triple home because everyone who plays this deck bitches about not opening a starter, but home is a starter. I genuinely don't get it. Anyways, triple Chaos Space because you're trying to search Chaos monsters. If I were to say anything, I would try to max out on all the light hand traps you can play, because most of your Chaos monsters that you actually want to search are dark. So keep that in mind. And then Talents is an exceptional card this one. I love this card. It's really funny because it is, by its nature, a bad card, but the way we're currently playing Yu-Gi-Oh right now, it just works very well. And I think the worst effect on this card is the Draw 2 effect. I think if you have activated that, you are, like, you're in a bad position. But if your opponent interrupts you and you say, okay, give me a part of your board, or let me see that hand, it's such an insane power play. It's literally telling your opponent, not only did you not interrupt me, but I'm going to rip apart the resources you already have. But when you have to commit to the Draw 2 effect, it means your hand sucks, and they interrupted the one playable card in it. So I will only ever use this Draw 2 effect when I am in a bad position, but if that's not the case, the opponent draw a good card. So we then Forbidden Chalice. This should actually be Droplet, because Droplet has incredible synergy with how the Evil Twins function. And then Called by the Grave, and then Challenge. You probably don't have to play Challenge at all, since you're like running Chaos Creator, so that's probably fine. Then for the side deck, totally up to you. I will say Anti-Spell Fragrance is one of the best cards in Twins, because you establish it going first. They have to set all their spells, but they're setting them in front of Lilla, which will pop them, and in Trouble Sunny, which will send them off the board. So they have to like set at least 3 spells every turn to get to activate one of them. So that's pretty cool. Then for the extra deck, triple Trouble Sunny, double of the Twins. Since this is a weird variant, you don't need that many of them. And even if they get banished, that's like what Chaos Creator's for. And then Link Disciple, Link Devotee, IP, Unicorn, Griffin, Abomination, and then Gotchi and Zeus. No Downard, because Downard's like a fake extra deck slot with Gotchi, because it's never going to... Pretty much, if you're ever going into Zeus, it's very rare that you're actually planning on playing the game. So what's the point of actually Zeusing your opponent? And even when you like hard try to pivot into Zeus, like the only way you actually get to play is with home, which is exceptionally funny when people play 1-0 this. That's hilarious. Like your game plan is Zeusing your opponent, but not doing anything afterwards, which makes it a useless card. Yeah. But yep. that's been it. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully this deck list gave you some inspiration. Like I said, I'm always going to post variants of twin builds because the pure twin strategy is inherent, in my opinion, inherently flawed, and you have to try to take it to the next step in order to actually get it to a very solid level. Like, if you're just trying to get into Sunny and hope to draw enough hand traps, that's not a winning strategy. It isn't. And it is diminished by the fact that the more starters you draw, the less your hand actually is, which makes any extender not real. But yep, that's about it. Thank you all for watching, and remember, Master Dinner Flex will take your soul.